Howdy everybody, Brian here from quantlabs.net. Just wanted to go through a more detailed level on these orders and positions using the Dukascopy API in Java. So I'm going to go through some of these examples and give you my thoughts on them. Also, I put up a video yesterday explaining the ugly Dukascopy Visual J4X Java code that's generated. It's okay for beginners, but if you want to start using it and modifying the code, it gets pretty hard. On top of that, I have covered in the same video the different orders that you can get regarding, we call it partial closes, partial fills and closes. So I'm not going to go into detail with that. But here we are in the API document on the website for Dukascopy. And here we've got all the different scenarios. So I'm going to kind of go through them and just try to show you some of the basic code. I'll also walk through the code and actually try to do some demos. Let you know my thoughts on the best way to go about this using these APIs or examples that are from Dukascopy on their website. So we got JCopy or J4X going to get loaded up. So in here we have the regular market order. I'm sure it's pretty simple. Yeah, it's just, send in an order. You have an order label. Okay, thank you. So we have our order label, our instrument, our command. This is slippage, and no, that's not slippage. That is number of units, I believe, and slippage. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some of these. Now, the conditional order, the big one that you spend a lot of time is in stop loss. So let's just go through the conditional order. So we have different ways to exit out of your positions. You can use a stop order, take profit, market if touch order. Obviously the stop loss is a more popular one. Now I'm going to give you my thoughts on it using Dukascopy as a broker. I think it's safe to maybe use it out of box at the beginning. But as you start to get more sophisticated with your positions, say if you're doing multiple, a good chunk a day, maybe 5, 10 a day, you may want to have your own stop losses tracked in the orders. So you can see here we just got basic examples of the stop order limit in the market if touch. So there's better examples. So I'm going to leave the stop loss because that's a lot of different combinations. But let's take a look at the take profit. It's really all you're doing is you give a price, and once your price hits a certain profit level, you get out. So that's, I guess, an okay way of doing it. But there's probably just more control using the stop loss. So this is a more simplistic way. But it would make sense to put on a take profit, because if you have a position that's running beyond the take profit level, why would you have it stop? So here is just one example. I believe if you want to, we'll remove the take off profit condition off of the order. So you can see how it's structured. We have our interface order, get order, and then set a profit, take profit level. But obviously first we have to submit it. As I said, we give it the order name, instrument, the buy sell, that's the unit, and we could probably look at the other parameters down the line. Okay, close order. That's pretty simple as well. We can chain the two orders here, because if we have our order by label, then we can just chain it and add the close method or to close it. Pretty simple. You can obviously close multiple orders here, it looks like. Now, the other one that I went over in that previous video, if you want to do various different ways of closing out orders, you can just close out 10%, 50% of your orders. You can just take a look at this example. Modified orders is an interesting one. Different conditions, so modifying its amount and open price. So we can have conditional orders. Let's just check out this. So we have a price, do a get bid, pip value times 10. So we have another price of 15. Slippage is set at 1. Submit an order. Okay, open price. And then we print out the message. Then we wait a little bit. And we know that the order is opened. So don't do anything until we get the order into an open state. And then it looks like we can modify the order to a different price level. Do the same thing, wait. So, okay. I don't see a whole lot there. Order management. By order methods provided by iEngine active orders if they were created manually by label or ID respectively. Method get orders returns the list of active orders. Okay, we know that. Okay, so this is for just monitoring how your orders are doing when they're open. So obviously you can check on the profit loss, any pending orders we may have, order by group. So any of these pending, profitable, losing orders, we can print those out as a report of some kind. Aggregate P&L. Not all that important at the beginning, but as I said, put out more positions, and yeah, we will need to monitor those. Maintain order list, order commands, blah, 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 blah. Now at this point, I think merge positions, manage order state is fairly minor. But one thing I'll mention here is it's important to know which method you use within your strategy for these. Is on start and on message is really where you embed all these different changes to your orders. Consider submitting a market order with a stop loss price pit market price, and as soon as it gets filled, adjust the stop loss price to precisely before the open price. So again, make sure you see where these changes happen and what methods. So it's usually an on start or on message, and I've also seen it on tick and on bar. So continuing along under manage order states, so we have a situation where we consider a market order with a stop loss 5 pips below market price, and as soon as it gets filled, adjust the stop loss to precisely 5 pips below the open price. So just take a look here. Get the get bid, submit order, and TP at 5p. Price plus the distance. Let's take profit, I believe. On message, if get order equals order and get type equals iMessage, order fill okay. Then we set the stop loss -5. Stop loss update on fill with Q. Consider changing previous examples such that it takes place in the on-tick method instead of on message. Apart from being a workaround for the two earlier Java API approaches, This approach might come in handy if the user wants to do all of this in one place. So, going to submit an order, the order and such. Okay, wait for update. We know about that. We've seen it. Wait 2 seconds for open. For it to get filled. Okay. Stop loss update on fill. So there's different scenarios we can use, as we've already gone on about. Partial fills and close we've already gone through. These other ones are pretty simple. OCO, one cancels the other. This is more if you have two opposite limit orders. That's fairly advanced, but I'm not going to worry about it at this point. Immediate or cancel order gets applied to market orders. Consider application IMC to conditional orders. Consider strategy which creates an order and right after the order fill cancels the unfulfilled part. Guess that can make sense. Okay, so these ones are interesting because I'm not sure if you can do this on interactive brokers even. So for instance, you put on a bid with a good, will be good for 1 minute. And for that we need to get current time and add 1 minute. So good till time, bid labels, so we put the bid in, well, all our usual parameters. Consider, so this is kind of like similar to what HFT shops, where they'll put an order out under certain conditions. If that condition's not met, then it will just cancel the order. Now, I'm not sure if there's fees for that, which is quite interesting. Withdraw bid after 10 seconds. Now, I've not seen any other brokers that do that. Maybe IB allows it, but that's quite an interesting behavior that allows you within Dukascopy, because they are a no market makers supposedly. Price 5 pips below the bid price, and then submit the order. And then we have an on bar, on message. If order submit is okay and the order, get order is equal to this order, cancel in 2.5 seconds after opening order. So print all order related, so we can cancel, set good till time of the instrument plus 25. Print all other messages. Okay, interesting. Okay, so I know the place offer, and this will be the last one before we start digging deep into the stop loss, because as I said, that's the most sophisticated one. We'll run some examples as well. See, place offer is not much going on there. Okay, so let's go over to stop loss and start playing around with this stuff. Okay, so we know about stop loss to an existing order. Order must be filled or open. Must be divisible by 0.1 pip. So you cannot apply stop loss more than within a second. I guess that's to prevent more like HFT kind of stuff, but even 1 second is pretty good. So we have our order label. We just order the price for the stop loss. So again, here's the theory. If you have not seen my course on Dukascopy API for programmers, I go through this example quite a bit, using Redis NoSQL as my database, as well as my message queue as well. So I go through that in detail, and it's this one right here on Shopify, and it's 3 videos, and it shows how to build out the queue with Redis NoSQL, as well as feeding in your Python, which can be driven by your analytics. So more scripting with both the Redis and Python combinations. So this is these different demos I show on how to do that. So you would be probably recommended to get that course. Okay, so we have different conditions on the order. As you can see here, okay, rejected, fill, submit, okay, fill, rejected. Now, stop upplace on fill. Consider submitting a market order with stop loss. As soon as it gets filled, adjust the stop loss to be precisely 5 pips below the open price. Actually, this is a good example of the position managers. One of the conditions that you could use right here, adjust the stop loss price 5 pips below the open price. So I'm going to run this, and we have different conditions here. So I'm going to probably run each of these as examples. So let me just try to download. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we'll save it. And this typically, if you want to do this, on a Mac at least, goes in your downloads. So what we want to do is move over to our folder which has the strategy files. So we have application support for J4X, the platform, as well as strategies, and then files. So here's where we keep all our Java files, just so those that don't know. This right here is the Java source file, and this is the compiled version of it within J4X. So with that in mind, we just tried out our first one. Now, I did report in the previous video some really wonky stuff that goes on with J4X, so we'll be able to test that as we move forward with these. So we want to test on message. Okay, so let me just load up here's our J4X, already loaded. So I am going to get rid of all of these already. See, it's already started. Okay, remove. Okay, well, we can finally say we've got our strategy running. We had quite a bit of problems with J4X. It was definitely a memory constraint due to, of all things, was Firefox was conflicting somehow with the J4X. So as a result, I put this page, the stop loss page, into Safari, and it seems to be working okay. Anyways, so we got our strategy running. You can see here in the strategies. Instead of just boring people to death, just fix the problem and get it continuing the running. So here you can see that we do have some stocks running. Looks like it's just working off stocks here. So I believe this is news. It looks like it's interacting with. Anyways, just see what's going on here in the particular example. So the one example that we're running is called Test on Messages, SL. So let's move along. So we have our stop loss examples here. We know about can't on an existing order, which we probably could do, because to reapply it, as I said, there is, not saying that Dukascopy does the stop hunting, but just out of simplicity, I do want to just keep the examples here really simple, so I'm going to use the functionality the same. Yeah, here we go again. So maybe it not be, in other words, it's stopped. I just want to remove this strategy. Okay, doesn't matter. But there's definitely nasty bugs in this J4X platform. Good job, Dukascopy. Okay, so continuing along. So as I was saying, if there was stop hunting, you would want to track your own stop losses. You could probably do it within the example code, the like an array or something to track it. But for now, I'm just going to use some of the combination of these examples provided. So one of the examples you may want to use is, let's say, manage a stop loss. So we can add a stop loss at order creation, or this one, really, if we have a running profit, add stop loss to an existing order. So if we know that the order or position is highly profitable and we've got trend, we want to definitely modify stop loss. This last step here. So we're looking for scenario 4. No, there we go. So step 2, step 4. So right here. So depending upon if we're long or short, so we order, get stop loss, and then order set stop loss price. So we can add on the new get pip value that we want. So we define that get pip. Get pip order, probably this one, stop loss in pips. If I'm assuming that is correct. Is that right? Let me just make sure. So we have step 4. So get pip value. Okay. So this is an important one we need to track here. Here's this double equals. Since floating point values are not exact, so we have to use this particular math absolute value. And again, I mentioned about on message and all these different methods. Okay, so let's try this guy and see if it works. So I'm going to download the file. So it's called manage SL. So let's do that, manage SL. Okay. Now I wanted to remove this, but we know we are going to load up this manage SL, the simpler one. See what it does. Okay, so let me just clear out the messages here. Where's there? So our messages we want to clear out. We want to get rid of that window, that tab. So our strategies, where's our strategies? Okay, so we have manage SL. So here's the parameters, instrument, 10 seconds, I believe that's supposed to be. Okay, let's see what happens here. So more messages, systems currently unavailable, please contact. So I believe it is not available because it's Friday after 5 p.m. Great. Okay, so we know that these should work. I did want to try out some of the charting ones. There are charting examples here. Keep track of stop loss. Keep them in a particular price distance. So this would be the interesting one to work off of. Draw lines from original Friday TP and SL, print a message if it gets broken. So we want our price distance to be that. Euro, blah, 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 blah. Start everything up. So we get our last price, set our TP and S and TL. Now, I believe this is in price versus pips. We submit out the order. So here is the interesting stuff I wanted to demo, was the draws lines of original SL and TP, prints a message once the original SL TP get broken. So I did want to demonstrate this. So on our tick, get order, contain order. So here we get our order set, stop loss, and take profit minus and plus the price distance. So we have our original tick get bid is less than the get stop loss get price. And I believe this is the current on the look back. So a message being, is the stop loss broken? In this case, if we have our current over the take profit, or no, sorry, if the original take profit in the get bid is greater than the current price, original, so here we go, original take profit level broke the current price. So that's true. So we got our on bar, on stop. So here's our charting. So let's try running this. Set. Okay, so we want set SL. Go, that's what we want. Okay, so we want to stop this strategy. Okay, we don't care about removing it. So we want SL, this one. Let's see if it will run. Probably give us the same message. Yeah, or is currently, system is currently unavailable. Yeah, so we won't be able to run any of these strategies as of now. Okay, it doesn't really matter. So let me just stop that and give you a walkthrough of the next one. So here's our break even. If has reached 5 pips, which I think is the break even, yeah. In this case, then move the stop loss price to the open price. Now this would be interesting, as I said, if you want to change the stop loss. If you have a running position, let's say. J, if this is equal to get profit, order has profit, moving the stop loss. I'm not sure if this would be a scenario I'd do. Let's move on. Oh, this is manually moving the line on the chart. And the user can adjust the level by, this one I really want to try out. This is just the one method. Double break even, order plus break even. So here's our chart line on tick, less than break even, remove break even line. So it says here, if such that the break even level gets drawn on the chart as a line and the user can adjust the level by manually moving it. Obviously we won't want to do that because we want full automation. That's a good example. Then move the stop loss to the open price. Okay, so that's what it's going to do here. Yeah, so sets the open price, the stop loss of the current open price right here, and then it gets rid of the chart. Let's see if we can, probably not run it. Okay, so is that stopped? Yeah, it is. Okay, so we want break even. There we go. This probably won't run either. Yeah, system's currently not available. Well, I wanted to see these charts. Okay, break even for multiple orders. And yes, we will have eventually multiple orders. Apply the same break even logic to multiple orders. So what it probably will do is it will iterate through all the open orders. Order break even not reached. So we have this new or what is it? Right here. Public new array order break even not reached. So these are orders that have not been affected yet, I believe. So we could probably take a look at these in detail. So if they've not been, so we have a special array or list set up where they're not been reached. Get profit loss greater than break even, then yeah. So we're doing the same thing as before, setting the open price to the current open price to as a stop loss. But the question is, what's in the orders be not reached? That's a for order be not reached, so we can remove all the stop losses not applied. Let me see. I'm going to check out this code here. So in this case, I'll just load it within the, actually no, let me just do it this way. Break even multiple order for Sublime. So it's pretty straightforward. It's less than 100 lines, which is good. So slippage, all the standard stuff we know about. Order be not reached, which is in a new array list. So on the start, so I believe submit be break even market order. So here we go. So we have our command, okay, buy or sell, history, get bid, take profit price if it's long, create our SL price stop loss at current get bid minus the stop loss times get bid value plus take profit, and do the reverse for a short condition, and then we resubmit. No, yeah, it would be resubmit. It can be, but this is the first order or first occurrence of it with our usual break-even counter, instrument, order, amount, command, open, price, slippage. Okay, so we have talked about the on-tick method. So if instrument is equal to this, it's empty. All break-evens reach, nothing to check. Yeah, so that'd be empty. Orders break-even reached. So we iterate through it. Profit is greater than break-even. Okay, as a profit of order stop loss of the current open price. Orders be reached, so we add to that list the order info be reached. Okay. Not sure if that's all that helpful, but it's pretty straightforward. Now, this one, it could be the same, the trailing stop, where if we do have a running position, we want to let it run, but at the same time, have that trailing stop get applied on a condition that may set the that may trigger and stop out the position. Consider strategy which keeps stop loss, changes the ordering, set trailing step. The strategy creates two orders to opposite directions such that when one of them will get closed by stop loss, the other one will have its stop loss updated by the trailing step. The strategy also counts the number of stop loss updates. Okay, so we got two more including this example. So we have console, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, this was just downloadable. The whole thing. So we want trailing step. Okay, becomes stop loss. Okay, so this may be what we're looking for the initial. This may be the best one. Strategy keeps track of stop loss changes according to set trailing stops. So we set a trailing step. Okay, so the strategy creates two orders, opposite directions, that one of them will get closed out by stop loss, while the other one will have its stop loss updated by the trailing step. So our trailing step is set at 10. Console, and we have a map of our stop loss moves. So on start, okay. So we have here a hash set, an array list. Tick. Buy with trailing, set the time, wait for it to get filled, put. So this is added to the map or to the hash set. Order, so all the order info get put onto the map, or sorry, the hash set using the array list. Order set stop loss price, get bid minus times 10, and that's the same as the trailing step. That's in the bid, and we are setting set stop loss. So we set our trailing step as the stop loss, I believe. Let me just verify that. So if you ever need to know the Java docs, which I've shown before, you want this information. Okay, so let me just do Dukascopy. Oh no, yeah, Java docs. Order set stop loss. So we are looking for Where's our trailing step? This guy right here? No. So, okay, so we're buying with the buy with trailing, get time instrument, buy, wait for, so we put the order in. Oh, so I see set stop loss price. Set stop loss price. Step stop loss price. I just saw it right here. So we have different, then we need the next one. So this is our trailing step. Set stop loss if 0 or negative, then the stop loss will be removed. If the trailing step is bigger than 10, then trailing step logic will be applied for stop loss price. So make note of that. This method will send command to server. Get stop loss price method will return old value until server will accept the changes. Applicable into orders of state that are filled by default may not be called on the same order more than per, not applicable to global accounts. Yeah, I think we, well, in the next example you'll see that. Okay, so that's how we set the stop loss. So we're doing, looks like an opposite as well. So we got a buy, now we're doing a sell. Same idea, but we're offers on the ask, and stop loss, the previous is on the bid. So on message, get order, or SL moves contains the key, skip non-order messages and messages not related to two orders. Console print, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so its order has been changed and it's okay. Order change for the stop loss. So that's the state it will be in. SL moves equals the get order. So this is the, oh no, this is the array, or the array list, +1 on the get order. Console get info, stop loss change to, get label, get stop loss price, stop loss moves to this new one of SL moves. So on tick, if map TS move, so iterate through all entry set, get the order, get the key, TS move, get the value because it is a map. So we have a counter on the moves, get profit and loss pips is greater than trailing step, move count, and move count is, profit is blah blah blah, but stop loss has not been moved. Okay, so last step here is for global accounts, which I don't think I'll be using. Yeah, so there you go. Quite a bit to look at, but like I said in my examples, I'll be using a combination of these, but the management's a lot easier versus just generating it and getting all the gunk code that I've shown in the previous video. As I said, if you come under videos, or sorry, under playlists, which is really under Dukascopy, what video
Hey guys, I'm Carly Kloss, and I just created
this one, ugly visual JForks code. So when you look at that code in that video, you know what I mean when it's ugly, versus is a lot cleaner because you're manually working the code. All right, so hopefully I'll help you out. Until next time, hopefully we'll get better solutions, but we're a lot closer to where we want to go. So the idea here is to keep the logic in this course that I showed you on my Shopify, on that little set of videos I showed on the Shopify store over at store. Yeah. So the course I'm referring to, and I've already hinted in a previous while back, this one here is what I'm referring to get the code of the various examples using NoSQL with the message queuing, and also the Python, which will send out orders and ask for the entry, and then using the code that I'm showing you here from the Dukascopy API strategy examples here, develop Java code to manage the exit in Java so it can be embedded and installed into the JForks platform, as I've been showing here within JForks. Hopefully, in a roundabout way, I can sort of pray I helped you out somewhere.